There's a lot of information on yarrow, and this is definitely one of the top herbs that you should know about and use in your life. It's a blood cleansing type of herb. It helps with supporting circulation and the blood vessels. Probably that's why it's used for so many different things, because it's so great to help support circulation. There's many of the old herb books talk about the fact that if you don't know what to do, use yarrow, because yarrow seems to be good for everything. It grows in Oregon and California, where it's native, mostly on the coast, but now it's in many different areas. You find it in Utah and in Arizona, and I even find it in some of the hills in Nevada. It prefers a full sun and fast draining dry soils. And so it's really great for desert areas, but it can be very, very invasive. Yarrow has different colors. There's white yarrow and pink yarrow and yellow yarrow and different types of yarrow. And they use the leaves and the flowering tops. Even some of the stems, fresh and dried, are used. And it's also used to make a really wonderful essential oil. It's kind of has a peculiar smell. It's very, it's kind of pleasant, odd, pungent aroma. It's a flat type of flower with lots of little teeny flowers in the whole bloom, but it also resembles some other different herbs like Queen Anne's lace, and even some herbs that are poisonous. So make sure you know what you've got. The leaves are very kind of like fern-like, and when you break off the plant and smell it, once you smell yarrow, you will know that bitter aroma, pungent aroma that you get from yarrow. The taste is rough. It's a rough one to eat, and it's bitter and very, very astringent, but so potent. History has a lot of information and tells us a lot about yarrow. Yarrow is told in a fable, and the fable says that Achilles and his soldiers used it for wounds in the Trojan War. It also has been used for supernatural properties. It's been used in fortune telling and witchcraft and charms and spells and all of those things. The Druids used the stems to foretell the weather, and the Chinese used the stalks to predict the future. The Europeans' tale is that they used it in a wedding bouquet, and it would ensure 7 years of love in the marriage. In the 1600s, Nicholas Culpeper, a famous herbalist, used it for wounds, and profitable in cramps is what he would say. It was considered the Englishman's quinine. And Native Americans used it as a tonic, indigestion. They used it for poultices, for rashes, for joint issues, for chest colds, for following up with childbirth, for desensitizing the breast. They would use poultices, put it directly on the breast for breast infections, or even for sore or cracked nipples. It's a great thing to kind of numb that, you know. I don't think anybody really warns you about that when you start breastfeeding and how uncomfortable it can become, but this is a great tool for that. The Pawnee Indians used the stalk for pain support, and the Chippewa Indians inhaled the steam for headaches and chewed the roots as a tonic. The Cherokee drank the tea for fever and sleep, and helping with sleep. The Paiutes called it wound medicine. Wound medicine. Pretty cool, huh? Also, the Navajos used it. They called it life medicine, and used it for toothaches and for earaches, and helped to relieve that. Many of the Indian nations used it for remedies associated with fevers and colds and any respiratory issues. They wrote a lot about it. The stalks were pounded into pulp and applied topically to bruises and sprains and swellings. And the powder can be used as analgesic snuff for headaches, where you actually put it in. You can even put it in a plastic bag, a little sandwich bag, and breathe it in, and some people really like to use that for headaches. Also, yarrow is used in infusions and decoctions for gastrointestinal issues by the Cherokee Indians, and many of the other nations used it for that also. The Shakers used it for things from hemorrhages to flatulence. Indian Ayurvedic medicine uses yarrow for support with fevers and wound healing. And the German Commission E, which is a commission that has studied the properties of herbs for a number of years now, our modern studies of it, approved it for uses to increase bile and for antibacterial properties, astringent, and antispasmodic properties. It has a lot of really, really wonderful nutrients. That's why it works so well for us. There's lots of really key components, but the main components that it has are vitamin A. It's really high in vitamin A. It's high in vitamin C, E, and a natural source of K. It has copper, iron, manganese, flavonoids, and it's known as a bitter herb. You know, we talked about the bitter, that how it works with any kind of digestive anything going on, those bitter herbs. It seems to be like an aspirin precursor, seeming to help the body with inflammation, anti-allergic properties, and anti-type of bacterial properties. It's a bitter herb that can help stimulate appetite and could help with stomach and gallbladder issues. It tends to have antispasmodic properties and is very astringent, and it seems to help women that may have heavy bleeding going on, seems to settle that down a bit. It helps with the blood vessels. It helps the body to strengthen and nourish the vein walls and the tiny little vessels. It helps the body by reducing the amount of blood clotting time that happens, and also can help settle down bleeding and even help with the nosebleed. It can help with settling down hemorrhages in the body and also helps promote circulation. It is used often by women, especially who have varicose vein problems, and could help with that discomfort associated with that. And also incredible for accelerating wound healing. Just incredible. You can make a tea out of it. You can make a poultice out of it. It's a natural cleanser. It's a blood purifier, and it promotes sweating, thereby eliminating waste through the pores. It can help the body to improve circulation, and also helps with waste management, getting waste out of the body, mucus, congestion, helps the body with mucous membranes and any type of urinary tract symptoms that could be going on. For sure, respiratory and digestive stuff we talked about, and also female organs. Helps to really support the female organs. Kidney infections and mucus discharges from the bladder tends to be supported in this area. Also lung issues, lungs are always supported, and also helps the body regulate liver and the skin. You know how the liver and the skin always go together. But one other thing that it does is it's incredible for pancreas. If you have pancreas issues or issues of blood sugar symptoms, either high or low or fluctuating, this is a great herb to try and help your body to nourish itself, to kind of get things back to normal. If you feel run down or been sick for a long period of time, it's a really, really great herb for healing of anything that's kind of going on in your body. It can help with the glandular systems. It can counteract some nausea. It sometimes has been used for gas and helps with mucous membranes of the stomach and of the bowels. A lot of people use it for diarrhea in either infants or adults, but honestly, I don't even know how you would get it down a child. It's so nasty tasting, but we have before, but it's just in a tincture form, it's a little bit harder. So usually I don't, it's one of my big guns. This is one of the herbs that is like a big gun. It tastes nasty, and so we take it in capsules, but we put it in a tincture in case we need for a really serious, like my daughter had really bad infections, some of those things that were going on, and when we can't kick it sometimes with some of our normal herbs or normal things we're doing, we bring out the yarrow for sure. It helps the body sweat out a fever, and some people have used it over the years for measles and chickenpox and smallpox. It's been used for pneumonia symptoms and congestion and any kind of nasal drip or even hay fever. Some people really, really love it for that allergy time of year. The tannins in the flower are naturally an antiseptic type properties. That's why it's great topically, but great internal. It has antiviral properties, antimicrobial activity. For women, this is a great herb because all menstrual problems that you may have as far as soothing or cleansing or rebuilding or strengthening the body, especially female organs, really respond well to yarrow. And the congestion that can happen kind of in a female body, especially when you're trying to, sometimes when we have our monthly menstruation, we do not cleanse out properly and have that astringent and it seems like old stuff kind of could stay in the uterus, and this is one of those herbs that kind of could help with that. It also helps the body to control fungus and yeast issues. That it's been used to help relax the body so that you can go into REM cycle, so it helps with some sleep issues. It's a catalyst that can help intensify the action of other herbs. When we make our formulas, you guys are going to find out about using a catalyst, and this is a catalyst that can be used along with cayenne and ginger and peppermint and all those things, something that makes other herbs go through the circulatory system faster. That's what we call a catalyst. And also, if you ingest it and topically, you can make a tea spray out of it, and it repels mosquitoes of all things. So there are cautions associated for pregnant women because it can cause uterine contractions that can cause abortions in the body. And so you wouldn't want to use it if you're pregnant, but you can use it if you're nursing. The way that it's used fresh is if you can chew it for a toothache, kind of like the Native Americans did, and then you can use it in a powdered form or a capsule form. You can make a tea out of it. It's for sweating out fever or colds or things like that, and it kind of helps settle down the body's night sweats. And it's also used for discomfort, some type of low iron and poor blood. It's really wonderful for that. Can help with the symptoms associated with hemorrhoids and possibly diarrhea for a lot of people. It's also made into a douche and for vaginal irritation or infections, and also a shampoo. You can make a really strong tea and add it to your shampoo. It can be made into salves and essential oils and used as a poultice for sure. So there you are. Yarrow is one of those great herbs that is just, if you don't know what to do, look for yarrow and use yarrow.